trying to recording in progress, and I'll be trying to develop carriers to penetrate the mycetoma grain. So yeah, that's me. I will be here for a couple of years.
And then we have Atik.
Yes, my name is Muhammad Atik, and I did my bachelor's in microbiology, and currently I'm doing my master's in infection and immunity at Erasmus MC. And I have just started my second internship with Dr. Wendy, and I will be doing like to screen for the compounds through molecular docking through the three key enzymes like cytidrophores and enzyme responsible for the cell wall integrity and the zinc take up like by the fungi, and we will check their inhibitory effect on these three enzymes through in vitro analysis, and later if they show like some effect, inhibitory effect, then we will proceed towards in vivo analysis. Yeah, and I will be here like for 6 or 7 months. Thanks.
Okay, so I see that Clementine now is also here and started the recording. So for those of you who are new to MycetOS, you can follow the agenda on the GitHub site of MycetOS. And to participate in everything, you could also sign in MycetOS so that you could actually participate in all the discussions and share your thoughts. Also, if you are able to do some things in your labs, like constructing molecules or screening molecules, that's also a possibility. In this agenda, I put a few things. First, I would like to start a little bit with the logistics, especially since Clementine is also finalizing her PhD. When Max tried to register in the MycetOS GitHub, he found out that Kimberly Scroggie is still the only admin. Maybe we need some backup admins too to make this process easier. Maybe Clementine, you have an idea of that? Is that easy to do?
I think Matt is the person to ask because I haven't, I don't think I have the ability to change those things. I would be happy to stay as a admin, or to become an admin, stay as an admin for the time being, if that's helpful. But yeah, Matt for the logistics of it.
Yeah, okay. Just quickly, I thought that honestly thought I was the admin, so I think I need to go look at that. Maybe it was Hung who was the admin, and maybe he passed that on or something. But definitely we should have, an admin in all three current centers, just to avoid any issues with that. I mean, it's a real shame if Max tried to sign in and couldn't, so we've got to, definitely fix that.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I managed to sign on, but the only admin right now is Kimberly Scroggie.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's something to look at. Thanks for flagging it up.
Yeah, and there were other things which Max spotted when he signed in. So Max, could you tell us what you found out and what can be changed to make things better?
Yeah, so when I was discovering the GitHub with my first impressions, I noticed that the contact details was specified that we prefer to be contacted via either Reddit or Twitter. Reddit, the last posts were 5 and 8 years ago, so that's quite dead, I think, and I doubt if it's being monitored. And Twitter, I don't know, it should at least be renamed to X, but I also don't know if it's still a suitable platform for us to use in that way. So probably we should rethink how we want people to contact us.
Yeah, okay, I agree. So the Reddit thing was an experiment way back in ancient history when Hung started his honors project, and we were thinking about good ways of involving the widest number of people. Up until a year or so ago, Twitter or X was pretty good, but I think a lot of scientists seem to have departed. So yeah, that definitely needs updating. Besides GitHub, we don't have a very good way of doing reach outs. Although it seems to me that lots of professional stuff is now happening on LinkedIn. So we might want to consider that, even though maybe maybe it's not something which is widely looked at by graduate students, perhaps. I don't know what the demographic is now, but certainly you're right, that needs updating because that's very old. And I think the thing about things like this, when stuff like this is found, when things need updating or improving, it's one of those things where the less top-down stuff we do, the better. So it is much better if everyone is empowered to make changes like that quickly themselves, because otherwise we get a bottleneck of me or Wendy or somebody making changes. So it is, the idea ultimately is that everyone is able to change the site and feels happy to do so. But things like the things you just mentioned, Max, are crucial because inevitably, because we're not paid to do this and we all have other things we're doing, some things on the website do become out of date inevitably, and so it's great to keep spotting those, and it's great if we can all, Wikipedia style, make changes when we see things that need changing. So you're quite right, and it is a constant challenge, to try to make sure that the site is updated and makes sense to new people. It is forever a challenge to do that, but we just do it slowly, piece by piece.
Yeah, so shall we make it an action item, since Max is starting his PhD, so he will be here at least for another 4 years, that he makes at least a LinkedIn page for MycetOS, and that we get the admin sorted so that at least from our side he can access that and change that.
Yeah, I would very much be willing to do that. One other thing I also think is an option besides LinkedIn is one of the Twitter alternatives like Mastodon or Blue Sky, which seems to be where a lot of the more scientist-like communities have migrated to. So more those open source alternatives to Twitter, but I'm not sure how evergreen those will be.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder too, and it's very difficult to know. So we're really kind of interested to see what people of a lower age than me are currently using. So there's another challenge which is currently being an online science challenge, which has just been launched, about trying to improve our ability to predict ADME data for drug discovery. It's called Open ADME. And one of the interesting things about that is that the place that they're using to discuss the challenge with potential entrants is Discord, which I thought was a gaming thing, right? Because I'm not in touch with it. But whatever platform is useful for people who are interested in drug discovery, we should go with. And I'm very happy to receive suggestions. Back in the day, it was pretty obvious that was Twitter, but now it's not so clear to me.
Yeah, so since at least the PhD students like Dunya, Max, the master students, they are a little bit younger than we are as PIs. Maybe they can come up with suggestions and act on that.
Yeah, I think we can just brainstorm, try to set some pages up, and then then you guys can all take a look next meeting if what we set up is useful and matches the idea of the platform.
Yeah, or we use GitHub to discuss, like we discussed the other things on GitHub as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, then I think that point is sorted. Last meeting, we closed series 1 because the Fennery moles have now been published, and for now there are no new molecules needed. What Matt also raised at the agenda is that series 2 is also near to closing. So we have received some samples from you, Clementine. I'm not 100% sure if this was series 2 or another series, but I put them now under series 2. What I noted in the last weeks is that many of these things are not recorded correctly anymore in the master list. So is the shipment when it was shipped, the date added, and is the date added when we received the samples?
Yeah, those are mostly the Series 7 compounds that Shane was making with the undergrad students, but there's a single Series 2 compound in there. And as far as I know, everything is in the master list. It's all up to date.
Okay. So for series 2, Matt raised the point that we are still making some compounds, but we are also trying to round it up. So maybe Clementine, could you give an update on how far we are with series 2, and if you have some idea how many compounds are still coming in and needed to be screened?
Yeah, so basically we said that we weren't going to make any more compounds, I guess kind of for the, the sake of SAR, etc. But there were a couple that were already in progress when we were saying that. So those are the only ones that you should be expecting. So we've sent, we won't be sending you any more, as far as I'm aware. Peter Rayner obviously isn't here today, but I think he said he has 4 that are synthesized, but he hasn't sent them yet. And then, yeah, I think that should be it. In terms of writing up, well, basically, my supervisor's been reading a lot lately with my PhD, but I will soon send them the draft of the paper that I've been preparing. And once they've had a look at that, I'll share it around with everyone else as well.
Okay. So Peter said that he would ship probably next week or the week thereafter. So those compounds also are coming in quite soon. We are now piling a list of compounds which all need to be screened, so to make it as efficient as possible. So most likely they will be screened just after the Christmas break. So yeah.
Whitgift is also preparing 2 molecules, but I'm not sure if you need them, Clementine, because you may already have them. So it's the methylated and the ethylated analogs.
I think you'd have to
You
check
already
with
have them,
Peter.
right?
So it depends on
Okay.
which ones exactly, because we talked about making
Yeah.
the alkylated versions of a couple, and I know that Peter's students made a couple of them, but we kind of moved away from those and didn't end
Yeah.
up making them.
Okay,
But
yeah, I can check with Peter, but in any case, they won't start the ethylated one until January, the second one, and then they will finish maybe the methylated this December, which if it's fine, I could send it by December, but the other one, it's going to be maybe April.
yeah, I suspect
It's
that's not
Yeah.
very. Would it be helpful to have a different target for your students who are starting later, or does it not matter as much for their?
No, it's their schedule. Yes, it's
Okay.
yeah. It is not the target. Yes, it's their schedule.
And we don't mind screening it anyway. We all know that
Okay.
in April there will be other compounds probably for other series coming in, and it will not be that much extra work to screen it
Okay.
along the other compounds. But
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't end up in the manuscript then.
Yeah, no problem. Yes. So I'll check with Peter and see if any is duplicates. If it's not, I'll send them if they are correctly synthesized.
Okay, so that means that probably, well, these are the last compounds for series 2. And then after that, series 2 is also closed. The next thing I had on the agenda, but if there are any things on series 3 or 4, please ask or raise that up. But on the agenda, I put series 5 because we discussed that last month. We screened the remaining compounds. Again, the screening has started. Most likely we will finish that together with the other compounds, and then the results will be incorporated in the manuscript. We expect to finish roughly around February 2026 with all the screenings. And Matt, we will put them in the master list, and I think we will go back and forth to enter them in the manuscript. It's just the manuscript is ready. It's just for completion to add the data and to see if we need to change anything on the SAR. Is that correct? Okay, Matt is teaching, so he says in the chat, yes, fine, ready and willing. Then we have series 7. Series 7, it's a little bit unclear who's doing what. So we need actually a volunteer to make a little bit sense on this. So is there, is there a volunteer who would like to do the chemical stuff to make an update? Because for us biologists, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to understand all the chemistry behind it. But of course, the biology screening, that's not that difficult for us, so we can keep track on that. But in which chemistry ways some molecules differ from each other and to which group they belong, that's more difficult for us to understand. So I think that needs to be done by a chemist. So
sorry, I haven't had like a, concentrated look at the SAR yet, but from, just updating it, I think at the moment we don't quite have enough pairs of compounds to say very much. So we're still wanting to just generate a couple more compounds so that we can actually see some trends. So I can probably have a look at it more closely later once my PhD is actually done. But I suspect we won't have anything particularly interesting until early next year.
Okay. And Clementine, since you're finishing up your PhD, are the new PhD students from Sydney joining MycetOS as well, or are you going to continue?
And so PhD students, no, but we're currently in like the awkward phase where we know that some honors students have joined, but we don't know what they'll work on exactly. So there'll potentially be some students working on it for a year-long project. But yeah, it's not exactly clear yet. I think we should know by probably again by January, realistically, but maybe earlier. At the moment, I think we would be suggesting that they work on Series 7, unless for some reason people are keen to look at Series 4.
Okay. Matt, on your side, are there any chemistry students who are also interested in this?
You mean for joining the project? No, experimentally, not yet. I got a student who's interested in doing an exchange for a few months, maybe next year. But no, and I guess therefore we don't have a pair of hands who can do some of the kind of wiki maintenance and talking about the compounds. So yeah, no easy solutions there. I mean, I guess I was wondering if those people with students who are making compounds of Series 7, like Peter maybe, could dedicate a little bit of time to doing some of that writing. on the wiki, because of course the writing is part of the write-up of the project in the first place. So I was wondering if we could impose on those who are making the compounds just to sort of clarify what's happening on the wiki, but no one immediately obvious from my side, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, we can of course do the biology part. That's not a problem. Yeah, the chemistry part, that's a little bit beyond our knowledge. So yeah, we'll see. We take this a little to the next meeting as well, and everybody can think of how we can solve that.
A couple of these salicylanide Series 7 compounds can just be purchased outright. I'm not sure what the budget is for that, but a couple of these can just be bought.
How much are we talking?
Some of the simpler analogs, like this old compound called benotanil, which is 2-iodobenzanilide, is not much money. 5-chlorosalis. One moment, please.
I mean, I
looking at
don't
one of
think
the
we're too stressed about the chemical names. If you just have a couple.
No, I'm giving an example. For example, 5 grams, $30 from TCI.
Oh, that seems very reasonable.
Yeah, so but that's also if we have some compounds which really make a bridge, then it's not a problem to purchase a few. But for us, it's difficult to understand which compounds are the most relevant then to purchase.
Anthony, do you already have a list somewhere of these ones which are a bit more affordable? And would you be able to,
I can compile that. I mean, it's 3 p.m. right now, and my mom has to go to the hospital, so it's going to be a little bit of she has to get something done, so it'll be a little,
It doesn't have to be today.
No, it doesn't have to be today.
And let us know if you have time in the next, I guess, month.
Yeah, a couple days, like a day from now, I could do it. Maybe I'll do it while I'm waiting.
Yeah, because if you have if you can give a bit of an indication of, just put like an asterisk on the most helpful looking ones, then that'll help the biologists, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and also where you found the purchaser so that we can see if we have access.
TCI has a lot of them.
But also just to flag out that it would be helpful if people who are making the compounds in this series could just post an update of what's being made and where we're up to, just very generally, so we can keep track of it.
Yeah, I think at the moment, Shane has made this batch, which is what I've sent to Erasmus most recently. And then Peter from York is planning to make some with students, but I don't know if he's actually like sat down and chosen the exact targets yet, because I think you guys will know the terms better than me, but I think that's planned for like the January whatever session. So
yeah, so then it's Shane and Peter who are most likely to make this this page, isn't it?
Yep, I think that's right.
Okay. Are there other things we need to discuss on Series 7? Then we have the new targets. If you recall, last year we had a few sessions where we were going to select some new drug targets based on the transcriptomic data generated in the Galeria melanella model. Based on these discussions, we chose CYT-A and MKK2 to be our next targets. And we ordered some expression vectors for both CYT-A and MKK2 from Madurella mycetomatis. Matt also ordered some expression vectors for other fungi. And both of the labs are going to express those in E. coli. And then the Structural Genomics Consortium will take them further. Matt, maybe you want to explain a little bit what the Structural Genomics Consortium will do with these two targets?
Yep. So if we can donate 2 milligrams, roughly, of purified recombinant protein that's his tagged, then we should be able to, from about March, I think, screen those versus this affinity selection mass spectrometry library to see if we can find binders. And then we should be able to repurchase those and confirm that they're binders. So we'll run a screen of about 20,000 compounds or so. And if we push the big button, maybe with DNDi's help, we might be able to do a bigger screen if we don't get anything from that. So there are multiple possibilities for trying to find small molecule binders of these novel proteins if we can make them and ship them to one of the testing labs. So yeah, should be good. The key is just to get the protein that's pure and his tag so that we can screen it.
Yeah, and from our side, you would like to have the protein, I assume. You also want to have the E. coli with the vector so that in case you need to create more in a short page, you can do that in your lab, or just a pure protein?
The pure protein is the fastest way of doing it. I mean, then the screen is trivial in a sense, but rather than if we have to make it.
Yeah. No, and maybe to specify 2 milligrams per how many milliliters?
Not sure. Normally, the samples that I've seen have been approximately 2 milligrams dry weight, but we can talk about the technical bit offline, no problem. I'm sure there's flexibility there.
Okay, yeah. So these are the 2 targets we ended up going for. Are there any other things or any other new targets people are interested in? Maybe the new people who joined. You can also propose a target you like yourself. So any other ideas what people would like to go after?
We should definitely keep this request live somewhere and keep talking to people about it in case people either have ideas for proteins that they think are important, where there's evidence that they're important or essential or something like that, or involved in
once we
invasive
have
behavior.
When we have our new LinkedIn page, we can have it
Yeah,
on the front
right.
there. I did also, and I mean, I guess this is evidence that I haven't been, keeping it updated. I tried to start using the projects function of GitHub a little while ago to kind of have a place to put things like that. And now I can't remember where I set it up, but if that sounds like a good idea, we can try reviving it.
Yeah, our own student, we added the zincophore, one of the zincophore proteins as well to this task. Because like the cytophores, it's essential to get zinc as well for growth. And that was the one which popped up in the proteomics study. So we thought that would be a cool addition as well. Since we're now only mainly focusing on one series for construction of molecules, if the chemists identify other series which might be of interest based on what we screened so far, or based on maybe your PhD, Lamis, that's also still a possibility, of course. So
Could you say that again, Wendy? Sorry.
So in how we work in MycetOS, that means that everyone can propose a new series. So I know in your PhD you worked with other compounds. You just told in the introduction as well. So if you are interested, maybe you could also create a page on GitHub on the compounds you made during your PhD where you found something interesting, And if there are alternative structures to be made based on that, you could also post that if you want to.
Yes, sure.
So even if you don't have at the moment a lab available for yourself to create these molecules, you could ask others or participating in MycetOS if they might be interested in creating a sort of molecule. That's the beauty of the open science part. Everybody does their own, uses their own expertise to help others.
Sorry, I missed the introductions before, but I'm guessing that you've made those compounds the, what are they called? The imidazole 1,2-B pyridazines?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because yeah, that would be great to have a if you're happy to put them on a page on GitHub, I can help you if you have questions about how to set it up, but it'd be great to have it in one spot.
I just made a very quick and dirty list of some of the purchasable ones for Series 7. So it's in the GitHub issue I posted right here. So I have to go. I have to go sleep for a bit. So
thanks, Anthony, and good luck with your mom.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
Yeah. And nice that you could join even in this very early time in the United States. So I'm already at the end of the agenda. So, and we do have 20 minutes roughly left. So either it will be a quick meeting or it will be, if people want to add something else or discuss something else, now's the chance. So grab the floor if you want to discuss something.
Just back on the kind of admin question, I'm not sure the best way to do this, but given that we have quite a few new people here today, I was wondering if it would be a good idea to have a kind of like who's who page that says, I was thinking perhaps like your affiliation so that we can kind of just have a bit of an idea of like, oh, you're at this uni and what you work on. So we have an idea of how many people are how many people are synthetic chemists and have access to a lab at the moment and so on. Obviously, I'm not sure if everybody would like to be on that list, but perhaps we can have like what's the word? Like occasional guests and frequent attendees section if people don't want to be in the main bit.
Yeah, or a sort of wiki that if you want to contact somebody, you at least have the contact information, not only the GitHub, but also the email, especially for new members when the admin is not sorted yet.
Yeah, especially because I'm assuming we all have institutional emails and you can find them with a little bit of effort, but there's always that concern that you're maybe emailing the wrong Max or someone. All right, I can probably try and put that together, I'm going to say by the end of the year. And I'm assuming we don't have a meeting on December 28th or something.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on December the 22nd. So that one was, or the 23rd, but it was already cancelled beforehand in the agenda. I also made the agenda for 2026.
Oh, great. Okay.
So I already updated that and I simply followed the minute taker and the chairing rules. But of course, now we are with more people. If other institutes would also take a role in chairing or making minutes, please let me know. Put it on the agenda and then or in the roster, and I will change accordingly. Also, for University of Sydney, Clementine, in case there's not somebody regularly from your side, and you cannot take the role of taking minutes or chairing, please also let us know. And also, most importantly, for the recording, Because if
Yeah.
nobody from University of Sydney is there, then we need to change the meeting link to one of the other 2 meeting links
I think
where we can report.
it might be for the best to have one of the Erasmus, or probably Erasmus is best because you guys have the most different people at the moment, as the, what do you call it? Like the default
main,
one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm planning to keep coming to meetings, but obviously if I'm not able to come to one, it'll be a bit harder.
Okay, then I will change that in the agenda. So the agenda link. Also, for those people who now attending and would like to attend more often, of course you're welcome, and we're very happy to welcome you here. But I assume you might not have received the invitation link. Only yesterday during the Global Mycetoma Working Group meeting, I shared the link as well. Please either email me privately or post something on GitHub if you're already a member, and I will add you to the agenda so that you actually receive the invites every month. And the next one will be in January after the holiday season. And then it will also be the later time point, because we do alternating time points to make it easier for Australia and the United States to join.
And New Zealand.
Yes. But yeah, it's I just took 2 rough outer skirts of the Earth.
Yeah.
Looking from the European perspective, of course, because for you, we are the outer skirts probably.
Okay.
Okay. Samira, you also joined in a little bit later, I think, and didn't introduce yourself yet. Do you want to introduce yourself or not?
Yeah, okay. My name is Samira. I'm a pharmacist from Sudan. I work as a research assistant at the Mycetoma Research Center, and I was really happy when you shared the link yesterday to join this meeting.
Okay. Then,
sorry, just quickly, is everyone who's here today happy for me to pop their name up on a wiki, and you can add details later if you would like, because I obviously don't know everyone's exact contact details right now. Cool.
Yeah.
For me, it's okay, but
Yes, definitely.
And I'll try and put the recording up soon.
okay, then any other things somebody would like to discuss?
I have just to circle back on the contact information part again, if we have some leftover time. There is also a Gmail address for the MycetoS consortium. Is that maintained by anyone? Is that inbox checked? I'm not sure who that mail goes to.
I think Matt checks it. Possibly.
That would be okay, but that was just because everything else is so outdated.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody know of a good way to have an email address that multiple people can access other than just writing down the password and giving it to everyone, you know?
Yeah, we have one internally, usually for multiple people, but that's linked to a university. I'm not sure if you can also do that outside the university, but I could ask.
Yeah, I'm not particularly.
One thing I can think of.
Yeah.
One thing I can think of is that you set up the email and it's maintained by one person, but you let it automatically forward to specific people that you then have to add. It might get blocked though by institutional emails as spam. Auto forwarding isn't really appreciated often by institutional emails, but that could be a way to get it to multiple people and for it to at least be discussed in the next meeting or something.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. If you know how to do that or can have a look into how to do that, that would be great. Or yeah, if anybody can, I guess, just Google whether it's relatively simple to set up a multi-access account. I think again, just because we have a bit of time, it would possibly be good to talk about if we're going to keep on using the Google suite of things of what do you call them? I don't know, apps, whatever. Because currently we have the master list on Google Docs and we have a Gmail account. But is that the best, way to have it open and accessible still? I'm not sure. Also, I was curious if anybody had thoughts on Discord that Matt was talking about, because I do not use Discord, but my understanding is that it's a bit of a closed group. Which doesn't
Yeah,
seem
for
ideal.
Discord, you would need a moderator who gives access to people who want to join.
And then you have like a big group that's like open scientists or something, but
yeah, and then you just it's like a big group chat essentially. I have used it in the past. I don't know if it's the right way to use it for stuff.
yeah, I'm guessing that OpenAdMe must already have some kind of base on Discord, and that's why they can use it that way. But I guess the way I've seen people use Discord has always been like, if you already have, for want of a better word, like a fan base kind of thing, then you can set up a Discord and that's somewhere for people to go. But we want to draw people in. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. People usually only make a Discord if they already have a lot of people.
And has anybody used Blue Sky and Mastodon? Does anyone have thoughts?
No.
I haven't either. One note I have on Discord, you can set it so that people don't have to request to be added, but you can just that everyone can join. So you can make it more open in that way, but it's not, I think, a way to reach out to more people. It would be equally difficult to get people to join the Discord as getting them to join the GitHub, I think.
Yeah, I think the one advantage it has is that lots of people might already have a Discord account more than a GitHub. I'm not sure. But yeah, I agree.
That might be. And it could also be a platform that we do the meetings out of.
Right.
So you can do the video chats and everything out of Discord, and that might I'm not sure, but then at least you already draw people also to that place if you want, so that it doesn't become another empty shell with no activity. Then at least we have our own monthly activity there, so people see it's active. But yeah, I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah, because at the moment GitHub is kind of useful as essentially we use it as like a website hosting kind of thing as well as a forum. But yeah, because I guess we need to think about what it is that we would be sharing. And I am thinking back to back when I didn't know any of you in my honors. I did like a little experiment on Twitter where I was trying to improve our engagement with the open source projects, but it was for a different open source project. It was for tuberculosis. And we were trying to share content regularly and that kind of thing to increase people's, to increase engagement, to increase reach. And it did help, but it was a lot of work to have something we have to I had to prepare things in advance so I could post something. I think I tried to post something every twice a week. But then we need to schedule posts that say, has anybody got suggestions on new targets and stuff like that, which I think if we set it up to begin with at the start of the year wouldn't necessarily be a huge workload, but we'll have to think about what it is that we want to be sharing.
Lamise, I know that you received some education on open science. Do you have some suggestions how we can reach more people? Because now we usually get new people when we post it during other meetings or during conferences. So any ideas from your side?
I think, yes, I'm pretty active in open science, and I'm currently one of the co-directors of the African Reproducibility Network. And to be honest, the way that we get most engagement is via LinkedIn. Posting via LinkedIn and also mailing lists. But then we have like members, we have a sign up form and we have members and we have their emails. So we regularly email them. But I think the most useful thing was the LinkedIn page. Yeah. So
Okay.
I would suggest it. To be honest, I'm not really, I don't know, like especially speaking from the African perspective, I don't think that many African scholars are on Blue Sky and Discord. It's not that common. Of course, I could be completely wrong, but I would strongly suggest LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I think for even our old timers like myself, LinkedIn is at least something we know. So, yeah, that's also easier for us.
Even GitHub, it's kind of a bit intimidating for many people. It's usually associated with those working on computer things. Yeah, so I think I would suggest LinkedIn strongly.
And certainly it seems smartest to consolidate our efforts to begin with, rather than trying to run a LinkedIn and a Blue Sky and a Discord all at once.
Okay, then since Max and Dunya is also not that old yet and at the beginning of their PhD, shall I ask them to make a first try, and then we will open it to see if we can set it open to more than one admin again.
Yeah, I would
Be
be willing to
nice.
take the lead. That's totally
Yeah.
fine.
It's a nice
Okay.
project to test.
I would suggest maybe if you make it, do you want to open up a separate issue and, post, well, whatever you're up to there so that we can keep it in one place?
Yeah. Okay, then any other thoughts? If not, then we will not have a meeting in December due to the holiday season. So I wish you all a very happy new year, which seems a little bit odd at the end of November to wish you already a happy new year. But and I hope to see you all back in January, full of new ideas for the upcoming year.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.